Hello, writers. My name is Neil Christensen, and I, like you, am a writer. So, this is hard. All of this. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. I'm not saying I thought it would be a piece of cake, but thought it was going to be a lot easier than it is. You see the pros doing it all the time on YouTube. They pop them out once a week, no problem. Not giving up. That's not what I'm saying. It's still here. We're still talking about writing. But it's hard. It takes up a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And there's no guarantee that anything's going to come of it. Sound like anything else? Today on Writing in Real Life, we're just talking. We're talking about the difficulties. We're talking about the problems. Normally, I script this stuff, roughly at least, and I come to you and I try to read a script and have it look like I'm not reading a script. Look, I'm not even 5 episodes in, and already I can't keep a schedule. It's a lot. But we know about that, right? I mean, we all set deadlines and schedules for our writing. We say, I'm going to get up every morning and write, or I'm going to write every day at 3, or I'm going to get 2,000 words a day. I'm going to do NaNoWriMo, and I'm going to finish a book in a month. Hey, man, some of you do that maybe. Some of you get it done. That's great. I guess I applaud you. But I don't know. I don't know if I really do. Like, if you're a professional writer, then damn, you've got 8 hours every day to buckle down, do your research, do your writing. You can work on it all day. No one expects anything else of you because that's your job. But when you've got other things going on, man, finding any time to write or do any other creative projects can be really tough. I'm a member of a writers group, something I want to talk about in a future episode. And I think being in a writers group, if you can find the right one, is invaluable. There's a lot of problems with writers groups. I've been in a few where everyone gets together, they kind of read their piece, and everybody in the group just pats you on the back and tells you how good you are and how great it is and how you'll be published in no time. And, there's no one dares criticize anyone because I think mostly they're afraid of being criticized themselves. So finding a writer's group where the people are going to tell you the God's honest truth, and if you've got a bad scene, they're going to say, man, this doesn't work, and tell you why it doesn't work. So all that for the episode on writers groups. But in the meantime, I'm in a writers group, as I say, and I'm going through Bishop Church. Last time I read chapter 1 of that with the group, and I've gotten to the point where my next submission is going to be due, and I don't have anything to give them. I've written the whole thing in terms of rough draft. I know where the story's going, probably, although that changes in second drafts very frequently. And so I just I've got notes. I've got stuff that my writers group has given me. I've got pages of dialogue here that need to find their way in. But I just find I'm not, finding the time to sit down and do it. And when I do have the time, I'm so burnt out on everything else that I don't. I had a weekend where everyone was gone. I had the entire house to myself for 2 days, and I wrote maybe a paragraph. Yeah, I binge watched Perry Mason. That was good. Not at the beginning, but at the end, it was good. But yeah, it's you get tired, and you look at your desk and you look at what's coming up, and you just say, man, I just don't even have it in me. But that piles up, right? It piles up, and now it's been 2 weeks since you've worked on anything, and you're out of that creative flow, and so it's like harder and harder to get to sit down at that desk. And so you think, well, what do I need to do? I need to get in the creative mindset. So, you pour a drink, or you pour a cup of coffee, or you do whatever you have to do. And you pretty soon realize that you're just play acting and not actually getting anything accomplished. So what's the solution? Man, if I had the solution, would we be here? No, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be, on I don't know. Who's Larry King now? God, I'm so old. All of my media references are out of touch. But I'd be on some talk show talking about my book that's being made into a movie. But I'm not on a talk show talking about my book that's being made into a movie, which means I'm here like the rest of you. I don't have the answers. But what I do have is a sense that, unlike a lot of other industries, writers are not in competition with one another. I know that some would say that obviously we are. When a person walks into a bookstore, when they sign on to buy something on their Kindle, they have a certain amount of money they're going to spend, and so they're, you're in competition with everyone else. But I don't think writers feel like we're in competition with everyone else. I feel like we have a community that is supportive, and I see writers all the time pitching other writers' books to their fans, and that is something that I think is special, and I think it's something that we need to lean on, and we need to lean on more. I have found that the writing community on Twitter is especially wonderful. Twitter is probably the best of the social media platforms, in my opinion, but that has a few caveats. It's got the downfall that is it's not pre-curated. So you have to go and find the people you follow, and then you have to build a following, and you have to be kind of picky, and sometimes even, do the horrid thing of getting rid of people. I had a guy, and I don't even remember his name now. It's not important. But he started following me, and he was a writer. And generally, if you follow me and you're a writer, I will follow you back. And I pay attention. I don't just, follow blindly. I read people's posts, and I'll promote other people's work too. And he told me that he had a YouTube channel or a podcast or something like that, and he wanted to interview me about my book, Dark White, available in paperback or Kindle on Amazon. And he said he wanted to interview me, and he wanted to put it up. And I thought, hey man, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. I'd love to do that. And then one of his tweets came across my timeline that just looked suspicious, and so I went and I started looking at his profile, and he had a lot of things that I am morally objectionable to on his timeline, things he supported that I couldn't get behind, and I just didn't want my brand associated with him, and I had to go in and unfriend him or unfollow him or whatever and block him, just out of pure morality, which is which is a tough thing because, the people that don't agree with you politically one way or the other, they're still readers, and you wanna reach an audience, and I certainly don't have a problem with anyone of any stripe reading my book, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I want a person promoting me that I have problems with. And on top of that, Twitter has the problem of curation, and that the more people that you follow, the more people that you pay attention to, the more noise that gets mixed in with the signal. And it becomes hard. Sometimes I turn on Twitter and I go and I flip through my timeline, and it's just like, where's anything valuable here? But that said, if you can filter it out and get down there, it's got great things to offer for writers. Number one thing that I think is invaluable is to find the writing hashtag games. There are a ton of them out there. They're great for spurring creative ideas. They're great for brainstorming. They're great for polishing the skill of brevity. It used to be even better when it was 140 characters. Now at 280, it's a little easier to get away with stuff, but it's still great for polishing the skill of brevity, because if you want to make an impactful line, an impactful statement, maybe a line from a story or something, and you want it to really punch, you have to have everything in there in that one tweet to give it the punch. You can't have 20 tweets and only have it become exciting in the 19th. So I have a few stories that I've started where I started them on Twitter as one tweet after the other, because that way each line of that story had to be impactful. Authors, even published authors, even well accomplished published authors, are surprisingly responsive on Twitter. I can't tell you the number of times I've picked up a book in a bookstore, been reading it, been like, oh my God, this is amazing, and then been like, oh no, what's this? And tweeted to the author and said, oh my God, I'm at this part and it's so, I'm terrified, and gotten responses, and even had conversations with authors while I'm reading their book. That's where you can get advice from published authors. You can get advice from best-selling authors. You can, get advice on writing, but also on all the other aspects of the industry. So, yay for Twitter for making that happen. But as I say, you do have to curate it yourself, and you do have to kind of keep up on it, or it can get away from you. Yeah, so then there's this, and the whole point of this is to reach out and connect with you guys. But if I don't keep up on it, then that doesn't really help now, does it? So I was thinking to myself, and I was saying, it's been too long since I've gotten any real writing done, but it's also been too long since I've worked on a video. They're both important to me. Ultimately, I think the writing's more important to me than the video, but I really do feel like they kind of go hand in hand. So I was thinking, I got to do something. So I figured I'll just go down. I don't have anything scripted. I have, a whole clipboard of ideas here somewhere, things to write about. I want to talk to you about, like I said, about writers groups and other things, but I also just felt like I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to just touch base and say, hey, I didn't disappear. I haven't forgotten. This is something that I'm still doing, but man, we just started e-learning today for the kids, and that literally sucked up the entire day. And here's what I'm going to do. I was talking about Writers Group. I was talking about Writers Group and how I'm working through Bishop Church and trying to make that happen. I haven't posted anything more since I finished posting chapter 1. I don't think. I'd have to double check. But here's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to throw up the rest of Bishop Church, where I have it to so far. GavinGale.com. And I leave the comments open on that. I trust people to be relatively civil, and if you're not, well, I know how to ignore you. Do you know that there's a fly flying around in here? And this isn't like a sports night fly that's like buzzing me and has protective coatings and invisibility. No, this is a real fly that is flying around my office. It's kind of driving me crazy. So I'm going to get Bishop Church up there, the rest of it where I have so far, And then, I'd love feedback from people. I'd love to hear, you can comment here. You can comment on my website. You can comment on Twitter. You can email me, neil@gavingale.com. I know I'm just throwing my email out there. That's crazy. But go for it, email me. And maybe we can work through some of this together. And hey, I'm not going to drag this on too much longer. Remember, go check out Dark White. It's 99 cents for the Kindle version now. 99 cents for the Kindle version. Paperbacks are great too. And, pick that up. Give it a read. Go to gavingale.com and read what's going on with Bishop Church. Bishop Church will be the next novel that comes out. I was shooting for November, but that is so not going to happen. So maybe we'll try to make it like the anniversary of when Dark White came out, and I'll shoot for like February or March. But yeah, okay, let's wrap this up. What do I always say at the end? I say something like, folks, write when you can.